Good morning YouTube and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my predictions for the AFC West. I've been predicting every single game of the 2020 NFL season. Just a disclaimer, this is my third week of doing this, and I have been moving around some of the games, and so there was a Dolphins loss that I added to, I believe, the Raiders, where I gave the Raiders a win and a Dolphins a loss. So I will be moving some things around before the season starts. So these aren't going to be my set in stone predictions, so that's just the disclaimer. But anyways, let's just get started. So first we have the Chargers. I believe the Chargers are going to lose the division with going 4-12. I think that Justin Herbert has not proven himself to me. So I think that the Chargers are going to regress from, I believe that they were either 5 or 6 and something last year. They either had 5 or 6 wins last year. I think that they're going to regress. I don't think that they're going to have 5 or 6 wins. I think they'll have 4. I think that they have the potential to have up to 6 wins or down to 3. So also for this division, I think that their schedule is very hard because they are against the NFC South, which includes the Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Falcons, who I believe are all very hard teams to play. I think that easy losses for them will be to the Chiefs, the Bucks, the Saints, the Bills. I don't think the Patriots is a guaranteed loss, but I think that they will lose to them. I don't think the Falcons is a guaranteed loss, but I think they will lose to them. And then the only toss-ups are the Bengals, the Jets, the Jaguars, and the Raiders and the Broncos. And I think that the Raiders and Broncos will split with them, so I think that those aren't even really toss-ups. And then you're just left with the Bengals, the Jaguars, and the Jets. And I don't see the Chargers beating any of those teams easily. I also have them beating the Dolphins, which I don't think is a guaranteed win for them. So I think that their season is very up in the air. They have a lot of games against very similar opponents, but I don't see them winning a whole lot of games. Especially because, like I mentioned in my other video, I think that towards the beginning of the season, rookies are going to have a hard time. Rookies and players that are new to their team as quarterbacks go. So that Bengals game will be a very hard game for them to win. I know that it's 6 weeks into the season by the time they reach the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Jaguars. So that's why I have them winning one of those 3 games. But I still think that there's going to be a lot of difficulty with the new quarterbacks without any preseason games or any of the normal practices that we have in a regular football season. So next we have the Raiders. I have the Raiders going 6-10. So I think that last year the Raiders and the Broncos both went 7-9. I'm not saying that the Raiders team got worse. I'm just saying that the league got better, and I think that their schedule got harder. I believe that Derek Carr is a very adequate quarterback, but I just don't trust him to win more than 8 games. I don't see him winning more than 8 games again in his career. He's done it, twice? I don't see it happening ever again. He's gone 7-9 twice. He's gone worse than 6-10 a couple times. He's very all over the place, but I think that 6-10 is going to be where he's going to be at this year. I think the Panthers win will be, that's a toss-up game already. But then you have the Saints, the Patriots, the Bills, and the Chiefs. And his record against all of those teams is horrendous. And then if you look to the Buccaneers, I don't see him beating Tom Brady. Tom Brady's record against Derek Carr is incredible. I have them losing in Cleveland, but I don't see that being that game and the Carolina game are both toss-up games. I don't think that they're guaranteed to win in Carolina. I don't think they're guaranteed to win in Cleveland, but I just kind of had to choose a team in those situations, and so I just chose them to win against Carolina the first game because Carolina has a new quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, and I picked them to lose against the Browns later on because I think that the Browns do have a slight advantage over the Raiders in that game, especially because it's up north. Next is I have them splitting with the Chargers, I have them splitting with the Broncos, and then we move on to Kansas City again. I have them splitting with Kansas City. I do not have the Chargers splitting with Kansas City because I think that the Raiders do have a better team and have a better shot at splitting with Kansas City than the Chargers do. A lot of times I do prefer to have them lose away and win at home. I know that's not always statistically accurate, but generally speaking, when I split teams, I have them lose away and I have them win at home. Next, we have the Falcons and the Jets, which I think will both be losses. I don't think that the Falcons or Jets have extraordinarily better teams than the Raiders. I actually think that I have the Jets' record as worse than the Raiders. But I think that the Raiders are a weird enough team that they could easily lose to the Jets, but they could also easily beat the Falcons. So I have them both as losses because I don't see them beating the Falcons, but I can see the Jets beating the Raiders. Next is the Colts. They beat the Colts last year. I think that they'll beat them again this year. I know that the Colts have Phillip Rivers now, but I think that the Raiders will still be able to beat the Colts. Next is the Chargers again, which they're splitting with, and then the Dolphins, who have them beating. This is a last-minute decision that I just changed. I think that the Dolphins very well could beat the Raiders. I don't think that this is a set-in-stone thing that I decided. I just thought that I had the Raiders' record a little bit too low, so I changed it. But now I feel like I have the Dolphins' record too low, so it's very hard to decide these things. But I believe that the Raiders can beat the Dolphins this year, even that late in the season when the Dolphins might be in some sort of a groove. But I think that's another toss-up, and I very well could put the Raiders at 5-11. And then the Broncos, again, is another division game where I have them splitting. That's the perfect segue into the Broncos. So the Broncos, I believe, are going to stay static where they were last year. I think that their quarterback situation has not changed. Their team has not changed. Their schedule might be a little bit more interesting, I guess. But I think overall their season is generally unchanged. I think they're going to lose to Tennessee. They're going to lose to the Steelers. They're going to lose to the Bucs. Because I feel like those three teams are all going to be very, very well off. I think that they will beat the Jets. They'll lose to the Patriots. And the only reason why I say this is because it's in New England. If it was in Denver, I might have a different opinion, but it's in New England, so I believe that Cam Newton can win in New England. And then I have them beating the Dolphins, splitting with the Chiefs, and I have them beating the Falcons. They're the only team in this division besides the Chiefs that I have beating the Falcons, because I think that they do have the best team in this division, and I think that they can beat the Falcons. I have them splitting with the Raiders. I have them splitting with the Chargers. I have them losing to the Saints, which I think is a pretty obvious mismatch there. And I have them beating the Panthers, and I have them losing to the Bills. I have them beating the Panthers because, again, I don't really know how the Panthers are going to do. They're a very big question mark team. So I think that I'm putting a lot of teams that are above 6-10 as beating the Panthers, and a lot of teams that are below 6-10 as guaranteed wins for the Panthers. But I don't really have a set. I don't really know who to say for who's better and who's worse as far as the Panthers go. I also know they're in a hard division, so I think that it's going to be hard for their team to gain any traction, and that make it hard to win games later on in the season. So it'll be a very interesting ride to see the Panthers' schedule this year and how it plays out, but I don't see them winning very many games. Week 15, like I said, I have them losing to the Bills. I think the Bills will have a very good team this year. They could potentially win the AFC East, and I just don't see the Broncos doing it. And then, as I mentioned earlier, they split with the Chargers and the Raiders. I think overall, the Broncos have a pretty good schedule. I think that they're probably going to go 7-9. I can't see them going any lower than 6-10 or any higher than 8-8. So I think that 7-9 is the most accurate record I have for the first three teams in this division. And let's move on. But not least, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. And I have the Chiefs going 12-4. I know a lot of people think that the Chiefs are going to go 14-2, 15-1. I just don't think that's going to happen. Right now, I have them losing 2 divisional games, and I have them losing to the Bucs and the Saints. I think that their whole season is going to be fairly straightforward. I think that they will win most of their games. But the game in Baltimore, the game in Tampa and the game in New Orleans are all going to be very hard games for them. And I think that they're only going to end up winning one of them. I have them beating the Ravens on here because I think that they will win the conference. And in order to win the conference, they need to have beaten the Ravens head-to-head because I do have the Ravens at 12-4. But the Ravens could very well win that game and then in turn win the conference if they both end up 12-4 and the Ravens have won. So it'll be interesting to see how those three games play out. I think those will be three of the best games of the season. I think the Buccaneers is the biggest chance that they have of losing because Tom Brady has not lost to Patrick Mahomes yet. He has won 3 times. That's a pretty good record. I think that the Patriots will not beat the Chiefs because even though the Patriots are 3-0 against the Chiefs since Patrick Mahomes has been quarterback, you can't compare a team to a team the same way you can a quarterback to a quarterback. Because quarterbacks play differently depending on who they're against. That's just like they don't try to, but if you're a decent quarterback against a good team, then you'll play like a great quarterback. If you're a trashy quarterback against an amazing team, you'll play like a trashy quarterback. And if you're a great quarterback against a decent team, you'll play like a decent quarterback. So I think it does depend on what team you're against. And I know that Cam Newton will have a good game against the Chiefs, a good showing. I don't think that he'll win. I think that the Chiefs will have no problem beating the Chargers twice, no problem beating the Patriots, no problem beating the Raiders once, no problem beating the Bills, no problem beating the Jets, or Carolina, or Denver, or any other team. I think that the 2 losses that I have them splitting with their division rivals, being the Raiders and the Broncos, I think that those 2 are a little bit iffy. I think that they'll only lose one of those games because I believe that Patrick has only lost 1 game against division rivals in his 2 seasons. So I think that only one of those games will be a loss. I'm not sure which one, so I put them both as losses because I do believe the Chiefs will go 12-4. I think this will be an interesting season to watch because I think that Patrick Mahomes will regress. Not a lot, but I think that it'll be a little bit, it'll be better than last year because he was injured, but it'll be worse than a couple years ago. So it'll be interesting to see what Patrick Mahomes does for 1 full season without having 50 touchdowns. And see if he, see what his record ends up being. I think that 12-4 is pretty accurate, but I think that they could be as low as 10-6 or as high as 13-3. I don't see them being higher than 13-3 because even with 50 touchdowns, Patrick Mahomes still only went 12-4. And last season, had he played 3 more games, he probably would have ended up 12-4, even though he was 11-3 in the regular season. So, thank you guys for watching. I know that these videos can get a little bit long and boring, so I kind of strayed away from going over every individual game. I kind of looked at the season as a whole for each team while showing you the teams on the board. So I hope that you enjoyed this format a little bit better. It was a little more comprehensive and a little bit less like, this is what's going to happen in every single game. So again, I'm trying to make every video better as I go along every day. So I hope you guys do enjoy them. I'm sorry I couldn't make one yesterday, but my power was out for 26 hours. And by the time I got my power back, it was 8 o'clock at night, and I didn't have any time to. I hadn't had this prepared. These videos take me 2 hours to prepare, and then 30 minutes to an hour to film, and then an hour to edit. So I wasn't going to make a 4-hour video at 8 o'clock at night. So I just postponed it today. So I hope that you guys did enjoy the video. I do spend a lot of time on these. So thank you again for watching, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace out.